There he is. There's Marco D'Amico. I am Shaun Starr. You can support us by supporting our sponsors at cheapesttshirts.ca. It's your go-to for hoodies, merchandise, custom tees. That's where Marco gets his. That's where I get mine. Unbeatable prices. Get yours today at cheapesttshirts.ca. McLean's Pub, where D'Amico and Starr will be live with Canadiens tickets to give away, gift cards to give away. We'll see you there October 22nd from 7 to 8. Get all your pets' needs at Little Bear, littlebearonline.com. Chuck and Evie, and they're a wonderful staff, care about your pets' needs as much as you do. And of course, if you're buying or selling your home, we trust Catherine Prince. I suggest you do the same. Go check out our website. It's catherineprince.ca. That's Catherine with a K, catherineprince.ca. Do the Montreal Canadiens have a hidden gem? And did you see his dynamic skill? I mean, I see a player who has evolved all preseason long. Marco, let's get into Adam Engstrom, who had a glorious opportunity on Saturday night. Loved the confidence, loved the heads up as he made a move, but Linus Ullmark shuts the door down. But still, the Montreal Canadiens found themselves an interesting player in Adam Engstrom. You've been covering the Laval Rocket for a while. You've seen this kid develop into this fine-looking prospect. What are we looking at with Adam Engstrom here?
Yeah, I remember when Adam Engstrom was drafted in 2022. The draft was in Montreal, and I remember sitting. It's day 2. Everyone's kind of a little hungover, so because day 1 everybody goes hard, right? Day 2 everyone's a little groggy, and you're in the 3rd round. The Canadiens drafted Vincent Rohrer, and then all of a sudden you hear Adam Engstrom's name, and everybody's going like, "Who?" I don't think anybody's going "Who" now. I think that really goes to show the development of this player. I think he had strong showings in terms of his development in the SHL. I really, really like the way that he plays in terms of transition. It fit that league very well because it's open ice. So his skating was even more important at that point because of the amount of ice he covered, how quickly he covered it. And he was used in the top 4 role at a very young age, very quickly. So you really saw the potential. But really last year was determinant, right? He came in, looked good in training camp, but then started off on the wrong foot in Laval, and then was scratched a few games, benched a couple of times, and then by the November, December point, he just started taking off, and he never looked back. And one of the reasons for that, and I don't think I'm teaching anybody this, or this is not news to anybody, but just elite skating. And skating with puck possession. And I think you have to take those two things and separate them, because skating fast, straight line is one thing. But what makes Connor McDavid one of the most elite players in hockey is that he can skate to an elite level with the puck. And I think that's what separates him from the pack. Well, I think that's what separates Adam Engstrom from a lot of defensemen in the Canadian system, is that he is able to move with the puck so efficiently, so explosively, and in terms of just like stride and technical ability, so effortlessly that it's never going to go away. Like that is a skill that he has that will continuously help and propel him. So, from what I'm being told, the Montreal Canadiens see a potential top 4 defenseman here in the making. They see a guy that can really kind of play a long-term role in this organization or in the NHL in general if they use him as a trade chip. Because I'll tell you one thing, the NHL has taken notice. I was walking by, as we were walking to the media lounge, I was just, all I heard on the press corps where the professional scouts sit was, man, 42, eh? And Engstrom this, or can that kid skate? And, you hear it once, you hear it twice, you hear it 3 times. I think everybody that saw last night's game kind of understood, right? But this is a kid that has everything: the size, the physicality element, the shot, the skating, like everything is there for your prototypical puck moving defenseman in a top 4 setting. Question is, where does he fit? And I think that's the key.
Hey guys, before we dive right back into Habs talk on the Starr and D'Amico show, a very quick shout out to a great friend of the show, Catherine Prince, certified real estate broker with Remax Platine. You can find her website right here at catherineprince.ca. That's Catherine with a K, prince.ca. So if you're thinking about buying or selling a home on the South Shore or anywhere in Greater Montreal, Catherine is the person you want in your corner. She's got the experience, the patience, and the people-first approach that makes the process smooth and stress-free. I love that her focus isn't just on transactions. It's also helping families through some of life's biggest moves, as you can see right here in the testimonials. It speaks for itself, does it not? Whether you're upsizing, downsizing, maybe you're moving closer to the Bell Center to be near the Montreal Canadiens, Catherine has you covered. You can check her out at catherineprince.ca. That's Catherine with a K, prince.ca. You can reach out to her, tell her you heard about her on this show, and you can contact her right here at Catherine with a K at catherineprince.com. Call her at 514-702-2474. Big shout out to friend of the show and a friend of yours, Catherine Prince. Now, back to the show. It's interesting you bring up the physicality part to me because, we go back to the summer months, go check out our videos before Logan Mailloux ultimately got dealt that brought them Zachary Bolduc to Montreal. The one thing, and maybe it's the old school guy in me, it's like, I like contrast, especially with my defensemen. That's why I'm really not on the same page of Noah Dobson and Mike Matheson. I think Noah Dobson is a higher skilled player than Mike Matheson. I don't think, I'm not going to be surprised if there's some adventures defensively with both of them out there. I hope I'm wrong. We'll see. But I like the contrast and I like the physicality. I like the bruising aspect of the game, especially when games get tighter and become more meaningful, aka deep runs in the playoffs. Where is that with the Canadiens in terms of what I'm describing? Who brings the jam? Who brings the pain outside of Arbor Jacki? Is that an area that, or am I just overreacting? That the Canadiens have that covered? Don't sweat it, Star. They're good.
I think that if you look at the Montreal Canadiens from a total perspective, I thought Caden Gooley was well physical yesterday. So, if he can maintain his health, I think that will be good. Arbor Jacki is showing some good physicality. I thought Jaden Struble got the message as well that, you need to up the physicality as well because he's been uber physical during the preseason. Adam Engstrom, I watched him thoroughly in the Laval Rocket playoff run last year. Man, that guy's mean, like subtly mean. Really good checker, really strong with the way that he moves with the puck as well. When he doesn't have the puck, he can zero in on a guy real quick. His gap control is actually quite good for a guy that was playing on large ice like about 13, 14 months ago. So I like what I saw. And so I think that he can bring that kind of an element. And one of the things that I've found intriguing is the fact that up until last night, he was played on the right side.
Right.
He is a lefty.
Yeah.
But in Sweden, he used to play right. And that's not by chance. It's because he has the skating ability that would allow a person to not falter or to not have that half a second step that would take him to readjust as he receives a pass or as he tries to play on his offside. Like he doesn't have to pivot as much because his feet are constantly in motion, right? Mm-hmm. So when you see a player like that, you're like, oh, damn. And it's not by chance that they're trying him on the right side while David Reinbacher is injured with a broken finger, right?
It makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to give yourself an option. You want to see that if the Montreal Canadiens, you want to leave David Reinbacher alone in Laval for as long as possible. But if, you look at a guy like Adam Engstrom, he's older, right? He's a year older than David Reinbacher, has played far more hockey than David Reinbacher and appears to be closer to the NHL. Mm-hmm. And that's totally fine because he's had more time to develop. He's had more time to play and he hasn't run into injuries. And the Canadiens see that. So they're saying, hey, this is probably our first call up if there's injuries this season, right?
Yep.
Can we play him on the right? Can we play him on the left? Like, can we play him on the power play? Like it wasn't a shock to me. Or sorry, I'll take that back. It wouldn't be a shock to me that he was tried in all those situations because of a potential call up. Like, why play him on the first wave of the power play on Saturday night and have Lane Hutson in the bumper?
Exactly.
If they weren't trying to see what he can do on a power play wave. I found that to be peculiar as hell when I saw him go out there. Like the Canadiens putting two defensemen on the first power play wave. Like, is this a test to see what they can do with Hutson if ever they slide Dobson onto the first power play wave? Like, was that kind of like a dynamic shift? And also, do they want to see what Adam Engstrom can do as a power play quarterback. Like, so I really like that dynamic. And again, I'll take it back to Martin St. Louis. Martin St. Louis was absolutely over the moon about his play.
Yes, right.
To me, I think when you look at the organization's viewpoint of Adam Engstrom, they are absolutely madly in love with the player. And so it just leads me to believe, one thing. I think the Canadiens are going to have to make a choice between Adam Engstrom and Jaden Struble down the line. And I don't know how that's going to go, but I think that's a really good problem to have.
Which takes me to my final thought. What I learned about the Montreal Canadiens preseason ahead of the season opener in Toronto is it's about damn time that this organization has significant talent that is pushing, that is checking boxes along their progressive path, and that you're seeing with more reps, more players, I think it's starting to mentally click that, oh, I could do this. Oh, I can play at this pace. I can play in this game. I can play in a tight game, whether it's an Owen Beck, whether it's a Florian Jacki, the defenseman we're talking about here in Adam Engstrom, that the Montreal Canadiens don't have pipe dream players where the market falls hard because they saw them throw their body around. But the reality is they're probably never going to hit Joshua Roy, but other players that have shown significant growth. And as we like to talk about here, there's no such thing as over-ripening, whether it's a Beck or a Jacki to see what he can do at another level, or here we are again with Adam Engstrom. That, to me, is what I think I learned from the Montreal Canadiens preseason ahead of, finally, the regular season.
Absolutely. And I just feel like they need to assess where their organizational structure lies. Like, what are we looking at in terms of call-ups? What are we looking at in terms of who they want to play where once they get to Laval? And I think that's exactly what we saw here. Like, it's it's no surprise that Owen Beck and Florian Jacki made it this far, right? It's because the Canadiens see them as the first eventual call-ups and the prospects with the most amount of pro readiness, like NHL readiness in their game. To me, again, I think we've had this discussion. I think Florian is a great piece, but they think that he has more untapped offensive potential, and they would like to go and uncover that. And I agree with them on that point. And then Owen Beck, same concept. They just want to see him play a more complete, speedy overall game that follows the pace, right? And so I think there's more time in the AHL for that, and that is totally fine. I don't think it's out of the ordinary for fourth and second round picks to require more than one AHL season before they are NHL ready.
That's fair. That's fair.
But, it is what it is, right? Like, to me, it's about making sure that you are tight as an organization from a depth perspective. I think the Canadiens have been sunk by their lack of depth over time, and obviously led to an eventual rebuild. But my viewpoint here is, when you look at the fluctuation of players that go up and down from Montreal and Laval, the Canadiens aren't using LTIR this year. There is no fiscal roadblock. There's no bonus count that has to happen. And LTIR isn't as simple as just calling up a player. There's things to consider. But with the Canadian situation, they can now bring up players at will without having to go into emergency call-up situations, right? And I think that's going to allow them to funnel in some of these guys, give them games, see where they're at in their development, bring them back down, things like that, like we've seen in the past. And I think when you look at the kinds of players that they're going to want to do that with, I think the moment there's an injury on defense, Adam Engstrom's up there, right? Because they're going to want to leave David Reinbacher alone to get his reps and to play and to do what they got to do. And quite frankly, if he gets games, which I am sure Adam Engstrom gets games this year in the NHL, good for him, because I think he's done everything he has to do to earn that.
Earn. That's what it's about at this level, as you hope to have a regular place on an NHL roster playing meaningful NHL games. There's D'Amico. I'm Starr. Welcome to the Starr and D'Amico Show. Like and subscribe, as our journey to 20,000 subscribers begins with you guys, and you guys have been outstanding. You have earned our respect. Keep it locked to this channel. Don't forget, D'Amico and Starr will be live from McLean's October 22nd from 7 to 8. We have Canadian tickets to give away. We have gift cards to give away. Lots of fun, lots of prizes. Looking forward to seeing you there. And as always, get used to it. The morning after the Montreal Canadiens play, the live version of what you're watching now will come at you. So, yeah, we'll see you Thursday morning after the Canadiens open up their season in Toronto. Marco D'Amico, thanks as always, brother.
Always a pleasure, guys.